Who are you? And what are you doing here?
Hiding.
Hiding? From what?
From my sofa. I tried to sign up to this weird site as a psychic after I lost my job, and then it attacked me.
Wait. Your armchair attacked you for signing up to a website?
Sofa. It's a sofa.
Sure, divan, whatever. What site was that exactly?
Cassandra.
Wow, that armchair really doesn't like that site.
This is Cassandra. They have the app version too. Find your way to happiness. 3 free minutes and 70% off your first session. Try it now. And as you can see, your top recommendations today are Immense Spark and Aura for $5.07 instead of $18.99. That's per minute, not per hour, per minute. And Seek Shell, $2.99 instead of $9.98. Due to the site policy, you will receive 3 free minutes for your first voice or chat reading with Cassandra, after which you will get 3 free minutes with each new advisor you try. However, this includes only chats, not voice readings.
Ah, look at that small print. New clients only. Credit card required. $50 max. So just to put that into Get out of my way. Just to put that into Also, why do you have to pester me about cookies? I don't want your cookies. They smell fishy. Where was I? Oh, yes. First, you give them your credit card information before you actually use the service, which always rubs me a bit the wrong way. How does Cassandra keep my information secure? We use security measures designed to protect against the loss, misuse, and alteration of the information under our control, although data transmission over the internet cannot be guaranteed to be absolutely secure. Your personally identifiable information is encrypted during transmission. In addition, transcripts that we store are maintained and achieved on secure, hardened servers that are hosted on highly secure data centers. Access to this data is protected by multiple layers of control, including firewalls, role-based access controls, authentication mechanisms, and monitoring. Data is backed up and archives are stored off-site on a secure location. By what I can read their privacy terms, they claim to transfer encrypted, which is good, but then they don't necessarily tell you how they store the data. They simply say unsecured servers off-site. Servers off-site could mean anything from Google servers to Amazon servers to personal servers that they have physical access to, which means we can't necessarily be sure where our dark confessions and, most importantly, our credit card information does actually end up. This is nothing particularly creepy. It is unfortunately common practice, or I should say common negligence, either in the way it is treated or in the way it is described. But it is a reminder that you can't just randomly give your data to websites and expect nothing to be stolen, because eventually it will be. Anyways, back to the topic. After you give them your credit card information, you can then pick Immense Spark and Aurora, and you get your 3 minutes for free, and then about 8 minutes of $5.70. And that is because it is valid only for the first $50. After which you will have to dish out a massive $19 a minute. In other words, if you had to pay that rate for the duration of this video, you would have to pay $45.6 for the first 8 minutes, the second 8 minutes about $152, 19 times 8, which makes a total of $197.6. A very, very expensive visit, I would say.
Let us see what types of reading this site has to offer. First, we have psychics, who are not very different from mediums. Both use cold reading techniques to obtain information from the customer. In other words, they get personal information from their customers by asking questions and analyzing what their customers reply. With that information, they then make high probability guesses emphasizing the successful ones and quickly moving on from the misses. Next, we have tarot cards. There are hundreds of variations of tarot decks around the world, and the cards can be interpreted in many different ways. Tarot card readers let their customers do most of the talking, and often the interpreting too. By giving them vague and ambiguous meaning for the drawn cards, it allows their customers to hear what they want to hear. Astrology is based on the idea that the celestial bodies have an impact on you and your everyday life. Your birth date is used to extrapolate vague ideas about your personality, while current constellations in combination with your birth constellation are used to predict your future. As with tarot cards, these star sign readings are often very vague and could apply to anyone regardless of their star sign. And last we have numerology. Numerologists claim that certain numbers, for example your date of birth, have special meaning and supposedly can tell you something about your life. Pythagorean numerology is the most common today, which focuses on numbers 1 through 10, each supposed to hold a special meaning. There is no set interpretation for each number, and no set way of calculating or manipulating these numbers. Thus, the reading is often arbitrary and based on the numerologist's preference and the cues of the client.
That aside, birth dates, calendars, and even numbers themselves are all man-made. We invented them to be able to count things. In other words, while astrologists at least have stars on which they can claim to base their arbitrary readings on, numerologists make up interpretations of made-up numbers. And since we're talking about numbers, let's have a little talk about the 5 out of 5 star psychics-ism rating system on their website. The page, of course, is rated by users and their impression, and has nothing to do with actual qualifications or standards. When we look at the disclaimer page of this very professional and impeccable website, Kasamba does not evaluate or guarantee the accuracy or success of any answers, advice, or service given through the site. The site and the services provided by Kasamba are provided as is, with no warranty. Kasamba expressly disclaims any warranty regarding the site and all services, including any implied warranty of merchant fitness for a particular purpose or for failure of performance. Nice coverage of posterior cavities, isn't it? But it doesn't stop there. Kasamba does not warrant that the services provided by Kasamba or the site of the verification that services will be free from bias, defects, errors, eavesdropping, or listening. So, of course, if someone records you during your session and makes use of that, they themselves are, of course, not liable. Another majestic coverage of posterior cavities, indeed. But what I actually came here for is this part. By using this site, you accept the terms and conditions of this disclaimer. You agree that any use you make of such answers, advice, or services is at your own risk, and that Kasamba is not responsible for any damages or losses resulting from your reliance on such answers or advice. In other words, they are not liable if the psychic tells you a lot of garbage and you get into trouble for it. Well, if that's not an endorsement of their psychic's absolute amazing, impeccable power, I don't know what is. There is another thing that caught my immediate attention, by the way. So I always hear this obsession with quotas of women and minorities, and so just for the fun of it, I looked very closely at their promoted best 10 psychics that they were showing me. Yeah, very, very progressive. Progressive indeed. 70% are women, and among the 20% men, you have a 100% people of color diversity quota. It seems like white guys clearly suck at ripping people off in psychic pay-by-minute phone scam calls. Also, one person clearly self-identifies as a comic figure. Yeah, beautiful, brave and stunning. I'm very certain that these recommendations change regularly based on whatever weird algorithm that site uses. if any. However, even by randomly looking around, that ratio didn't get any different or any better. I'm not sure breaking through the imaginary glass ceiling on a site like this leaves the best impression. Just saying. Those people are not hired, by the way. You can actually sign up to this site.
Do you have a natural talent for psychic reading, astrology, fortune telling, tarot, or other spiritual gift? It's time to make that gift pay off with a job as a psychic consultant online. Let your clients find you over the internet, while you set your own schedule, work at home as much or as little as you want, and set your own fees. And the best part is, Cassandra does all the marketing for you. Choose to chat online, via email, or take your clients on the go with Voice Connect. Any way you choose, it's a great way to make your online psychic career start earning big. Registration costs just $50. If you are interested in applying for a future position, please contact us and provide us with your contact information and professional experience. In order to process your application, please submit it under the Expert Registration category. Applications with an attached resume are given priority. So basically, now you can give them all your data in a nicely condensed PDF. It sounds so professional.
Now that we have explored the site a bit, let's talk about how the site makes its money. Because it itself doesn't actually scam, or at least it doesn't appear to do so on the surface. There are of course possibilities that it may use an AI or other methods to gather the entirety of the earnings, but it is nonetheless primarily a platform that connects people offering questionable services with gullible audiences. And it gets, presumably, a cut for it. A percentage of whatever these psychics earn on that site. It is kind of a glorified Patreon platform, if you will. It does, however, demand some juicy fees beyond that. First fee that catches my eyes is the account maintenance fee. For account balance that have not been added or used for transactions for more than 12 months, Cassandra reserves the right to charge an administrative fee of up to $5. The account maintenance fee. Each month, until the earlier of I, the available account balance has been depleted, or II, 36 months have passed since the last transaction. So if you forget money on Cassandra, after a year, it gets slowly sucked out of you. Beautiful. And if you forget to pay or have issues with your credit card, then the following will happen. You will reimburse Cassandra for any expenses incurred by Cassandra to collect fees owed by you. In other words, if they send a credit collector agency after you, you will have to pay for that agency yourself. And then this. Cassandra reserves the right to charge interest on any past due amounts of 2% per month on the highest amount permitted by law, if lower. So if you don't pay in time, they demand 2% extra as well. Not the safest place to leave your money, I would suggest. Getting back money from scam services is in and of itself already hard enough. However, the fact that the site acts as a platform and not as the actual psychic reading provider not only allows it to not have to worry about actual salaries or quality of its psychics, but it pretty much makes the site immune to everything that can or could go sideways. So on one side, this site offers transparency, and eventual issues with certain psychics can be made public through reviews and can be discussed and avoided. On the other hand, it still allows the transfer of money from gullible people into the pockets of people offering questionable services. Don't ban me, YouTube, I beg you.
I do need a job, but this is some pretty shady cash grab.
It also seems to make your armchair quite aggressive.
Sofa. It's a sofa.
Sure, daybed, whatever. So, what are you going to do instead?
I don't know. Got any ideas?
How about you apply at the barbecue center? I heard that they're low on personnel at the moment.
Great. What are they barbecuing there?
Well, the usual. Snake oil sellers, bank robbers and psychics, mostly.
Oh.
What do you guys think about this? Should people be allowed to pay the gullibility tax? Can woo-woo services still be considered a service? And is this webpage offering woo-woo part of the problem? Leave your comments in the section below. If you're not commenting right now, you're totally missing out. Please like, share and subscribe. And while you're at it, please go over to Black Sofa's channel. Check him out and subscribe to him if you like what he does. Thanks to all my awesome supporters who are supporting me on Patreon and PayPal. Mwah! You're the best. And if you would like to have my videos a day earlier, or if you would like to make sure that YouTube doesn't by accident forget to send you the link to my video, please consider subscribing to our email list at list.logic.com. Thank you all for watching and have a great evening.